And you swore that you would not do that to her, right?
Yes, sir. And I won't. I've been faithful to her, and she needs to understand that because I'm here to save our relationship.
Right.
Then why are you always hiding things? What is it with all the passcodes on your damn phones? Why are you always locking your phone? You never give me no answers, Miguel. Everything is I don't know.
Welcome to the Matt Sam Show.
Fuck your politics.
I'm Matt Fleeks.
I'm Sam Wallace.
And today's topic, we want to talk about why do men cheat. So, why do men cheat, man? Do
you know? Do you have the answer?
Yeah, I think I have the answer to this. Sometimes men cheat because they're simply not happy. Because the person that they fell in love with and got together with changed on them.
Well, why they just won't leave?
That's a good question. And we're not referring to me. We're talking about men in general.
Right, I'm saying in general.
I know what you're saying. So that's, because we, as men, sometimes we're not honest, So we like to, just keep it, untruthful and see if we can get, a few side pieces and a couple pieces on the side and then do our thing and then keep the woman that, we supposed to be with. But, I feel like they cheat also because they never really matured. They looked at, they never seen an example, in their household of a loving relationship. So they may not have had their mother and father in the home. And so that caused them to not really understand what it takes to build a relationship and have communication and be honest. And they were taught by like 1990s hip hop or whatever, like fuck these hoes or, what's the song by Nate Dogg?
When I met you last night, baby. It's crazy. A lot of women were rocking to that shit.
They was rocking to that shit.
Very disrespectful song.
Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
They were rocking to it. I mean, I haven't really cheated that much in my life. When I was young, I did, kind of like fuck around here and there, but when you're young, you don't think about shit that you're doing. You're not really mature. Like you said, I think a lot of men cheat and, cause it's hard to be honest, right? Like I look at like when I was 19, I got my heart broke.
Okay.
And most men, when they get their heart broke because they haven't, you gotta understand, emotions, there's only two things you can do with them. You can either respond or react to them.
Right. It's the worst shit.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men don't know how to respond to their emotions. So when I got my heart broken when I was 19, I kind of really analyzed the situation and said, what can I do different? Or what didn't I like about how that situation played out? Because like the girl I was fucking with at the time, she was like lying and doing all type of just like bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm constantly catching up in lies and shit like that. So it was like, I didn't want to carry that same type of, because I saw how a lot of men were really damaging situations because they didn't know how to respond to that. So it was like they were taking that same type of bullshit to the next relationship. But what happened is they'll meet a woman that was worthy of their time and worthy being, and now you fucking her over because of some shit you went through with another woman.
Bringing that baggage, right?
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, all right, so what can I do different? What didn't I like about the situation? And I didn't like the fact that she wasn't honest. And I told myself, I said, you know what? Moving forward, that's what I'm going to do. If I don't want to be in a relationship, I'm going to tell the motherfucker. Right. I don't want to be in a relationship. And what a lot of men don't understand is if a woman likes you, she's going to dig you regardless. And you can't tell her enough shit to get her to leave if she's really digging you.
Just be honest. And that was like some of the best advice I got from an older woman. That she told me, she said, Matt, all you have to do is just be honest and tell somebody what they're getting into.
Man, get him that rope.
And then, once they know what they're getting into, then it's not like you're not giving them clarity on what the situation is. So sometimes, I think guys, they just they don't know how to just be open and clear with their agenda. When they get into a relationship with somebody, because they just focused on, just getting in them pants, getting in them drawers. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it goes beyond that too. I think a lot of men out here trying to live a life. You got to understand, you take the time to really evaluate a lot of dudes' lives, and shit wasn't popping when they was young. They probably was fucked up when they was young. Chicks wasn't digging them when they was young. Like, I love how ladies think that, let me run after the ugly dude because he's gonna treat me right, and the ugly dude, pussy's new to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this flow of pussy is all new to him, so he doesn't know how to act with this. You know what I'm saying? And the dude that you should be fucking with, the dude who's used to some pussy, you know what I'm saying? That's the dude you should be embracing, because he's gonna know how to treat you. You know why? Because the fact that he has this experience, it gives him the opportunity to be able to see value. And at some point when he matures, because it's going to take some time for him to mature too, but when he matures and gets himself aligned, then he knows what value looks like.
Right.
And he's not going to be wasting his time fucking with women who don't provide that. But you got, like I said, you taking the fact that, brothers are trying to make up for lost time. And then, like I said, the honesty thing. A man rather sit and try to find all these different women to try to make this one woman,
which is very difficult to
maintain.
What
I'm saying? Instead of just saying, hey, let me be real with it. I mean, and it's hard, like, and women, man, look, as I've been in relationships before and I'm married, and I know the cycle that men have and cycle that women have. When you first meet a woman, she's into, like, she's active, she's going to the gym, she's open, she's sucking dick more, you know what I'm saying? All these different things. And then the minute she gets in a relationship, it's like, now you get your dick sucked on holidays, and ain't no going to the gym like she used to. And women tend to get very complacent in relationships, whether they want to admit it or not. They get very complacent. So it's hard to go to your wife and say, or your girlfriend or whoever you in that situation, and essentially just asking her to be better than what she is. It's hard, and I think a lot of men they rather not have that conversation because of how hard it is. But then you create more problems when you go out and try to go get this woman that you really want your wife or your girlfriend to be.
Yeah, so guys,
feel me?
Yeah, guys need to just communicate. If there's an issue, communicate that issue to the person that you're with, and if it can't be resolved, just leave.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That because there's no point in stringing somebody along and getting them all caught up in you. And then, when the situation get out of hand, where, you say, oh, she crazy, man. But, you're doing things to make them crazy.
You caused that. You add all the fire to that flame.
You did that.
Yeah.
So, we got to get to a point where we're truthful. I mean, there are some people out here that have, like, polygamous relationships where they're very honest about their situations. So,
and I respect that.
If that's what people are into, then that's what they're into. Like, you're honest about your situation. I mean, me, I'm into my monogamous relationship. It's
I as well.
It's a much better situation to be with a person that you know who's very consistent, because that's another thing. Some people aren't consistent. Some women aren't consistent. They change up, or some women don't listen to you at the beginning of the relationship when you tell them who you are and what you'll be like. And they try and change you, and then they get frustrated, and then it becomes like a constant battle where they nagging and fighting back and forth, and so then
tension of opposites.
Yeah, so then that creates the tension where the man may be vulnerable to talk to another woman who may, be able to align with them. Where then, it's just it may be a simple conversation and then turn into something totally different, like a whole nother relationship, and then you have another baby on the side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
and I talk to a lot of young brothers, man. Like, I was talking to a brother the other day, and he was like, well, I'm ready to settle down with this one girl, but I'm still kind of fucking with this other girl. How should I play this? And I think, what men need to understand is that just because a woman is out here fake digging on you and shit like that doesn't mean she genuinely gives a fuck about you.
True.
If you got 100 women, you lucky if 3 of them genuinely love you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the rest of them are just, you got to understand, women are natural competitors. Right. So when they can sense if a man is in a happy relationship and if there's a woman involved. And I think a lot of brothers get that misconstrued. They think that thrive to want to one up that woman is really something
About
that
them.
really about them.
And
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
not.
And it's not. They don't give a fuck because like how many women you done seen once they get into the situation and they done gave the man some pussy whatever, they on to the next.
And
Because
what
it
the-
didn't have shit to do with the man. It was really to try to shit on that woman.
Right. And they'll call and be like to the woman that's in a relationship with the man, I fucked your man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Like it's a
'cause
trophy.
Because women are natural competitors.
Yeah.
Natural. They're naturally competitors, and maybe it's society that has them like that, where they have to compete with each other. But
well,
that's the reality of it.
and men are competitors too.
Yeah,
We
because you got
competitors.
brothers
But
out
it's
here
a-
bragging
but it's
about
a
fucking
different-
wives and girlfriends, and I'm like,
but
for
it's-
what, bro?
Yeah, it's a different, dynamic with us men. But I agree with you. Like women are competitive. Like, I mean, I hear this from some women. When a woman comes into the room, they start sizing each
Yeah.
other up and
Oh, yeah.
everything. And it's like, why? Why y'all doing that?
Hey, as
what's-
much as
what's
I
the
love
point
him,
of
I'm
that?
glad I'm not a woman. And I love him
I mean,
dearly.
I
I
love
love him. I love women like air, but I'm glad I'm not one because it's like the catty shit is crazy, and
Yeah,
it's like
they have a lot of pressures, man.
Yeah.
That they gotta compete with. They have to keep up their image a little bit more than us men. I mean, we get to just sometimes just get up out of bed, take a shower and just throw a t-shirt on and some jeans and walk out. We good.
You're right.
They got to get their hair done and hair together and make sure their face is together and
Yeah,
make sure their appearance is always on point. 'Cause
and we
if-
appreciate that.
and we do appreciate that. So, there are pressures, but, hopefully, our conversation, just help some of these young brothers, who are out here, who want to do what's right by being honest, but they just don't know because they never really had an example of what they should do.
And that's the thing, like, with the cycle, you can either repeat the cycle or break the cycle.
True.
And I feel like, because I grew up in an environment where you had men who played family when it was convenient,
Right.
like when it was a holiday, pops around with the kids, but then it's like, any other day, if it's not a holiday, he fucking around behind your back. He didn't, you got siblings, from him bullshitting and being out there in the streets. So I think a lot of men, and I think a lot of men need to look at their lives and say, hey, this constant cycle, where has it led?
Right.
It created no foundation. And that was the thing for me. I was seeing it in my family a lot. I was seeing a lot of men in my family who would, like I said, play the family role when it was convenient, but it was like fucking around on the side, making kids and shit on the side, and I was just like, I know I didn't want that because it was the reason why what should have been a foundation within my family was the reason why we were just kind of scattered and didn't really have the cohesiveness that we should have had, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a lot of brothers are scared that they rather just play on to the cycle opposed to breaking it. And then I know it's hard to be vulnerable at times. It's hard to allow yourself to be vulnerable to this woman and see this side of you, that every man, I don't give a fuck how hard you are. Like, man, X said it best, our hearts are soft.
Right.
So, it's hard to be vulnerable around that woman, but it's like, why create unnecessary drama that you don't have to create? And I think women need to take more responsibility too. It's like, if you know this man cheating, why keep fucking with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it kills me. Like, I'll see so many women deal with the same man over and over again. Don't get me wrong. The image and what's in front of you looks different, but the same characteristics you keep dealing with after man after man after man.
Right.
Because you got in your mind that love only supposed to come like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another thing, man. People need to understand it's not always going to come the way you want it to come.
Right.
But if you allow yourself to be open to love, it'll come. And I think if men, if we talking about why do men cheat, if men start being real enough with themselves and saying, hey, let me deal with these insecurities I may have, or let me deal with the fact that I have a hard time expressing myself.
Right.
That's another thing too.
Yeah, and another thing, I think sometimes the people that men are around can influence.
I agree.
How they are. So if you have friends that are cheaters and they always constantly, talking about different women that they are around or that they have and that you should look at, and they're showing you pictures and everything like that, that can have an impact on you. So men should be conscious of who they have around in their circle. You know what I mean? So that if you want to make changes in your life, you got to have the people in your life. Because, for me, like I had my father in my life. I had my grandfather in my life. And they're with their wives,
Right.
to this day. So I saw that consistency, that stability. No matter what, they gave me a great example of what could be. But I know some people don't have that. So, I commend you on being able to observe, what happened in the one situation that you was in, and being analytical about it and making adjustments where you're like, okay, I'm gonna make a change and I want things to be better, and you made that happen.
Yeah, because it's like,
because that's growth.
Exactly. It's like, because as a child, I was watching.
Right.
And I wanted my kids to, whatever they got to say about me as a person, whatever their opinion is, I want them to always be like, well, he was right, regardless of however he did it. And I didn't want my kids to see me, on one hand, playing this role with their mother, but then, behind their back, I'm doing some other shit. And I feel like as a grown man, I don't have time to be sitting up here hiding text messages and having,
locking your phone.
You know what I'm saying? Like all this goofy shit. Like I tell my wife all the time, like if God forbid we ever go our separate ways, we go our separate ways. But I'm not cheating on you. If I don't want to be with you, I'm getting the fuck out of this situation, because I'm too old to be sitting up here hiding text messages and having a second account on Facebook and all this old goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time for that. I didn't get this old to not do what the fuck I want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. And I think that's something that a lot of men haven't embraced. It's like, if you see this constant cycle not going anywhere, be brave enough to say, let me try something different.
Yeah.
Because I was watching generation after generation do the same thing. They play the role, it's that main woman, but then they over here fucking around with this woman on the side, fucking around with that woman on the side. And what does that lead to? Eventually another baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's
does.
like, I'm not sitting up here trying, because you can get lost in that situation. Because everything that you want from that one woman that you're afraid to talk to her about, because you never know, she may need to hear that. She may need to hear, like, damn, baby, you're not the woman you were. You're not putting in the effort that you used to.
Right.
You don't have this grasp of life that you once used to have. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And if it's like that, be willing to help.
Exactly.
Be willing to encourage. Don't just be out there like going ham and
be willing to listen to the criticism you may get back.
Right. Because you may get
she
it
got
back,
some feelings too. Shit.
Sometimes
not vindictiveness. It can be just real shit.
What I mean is, like, some people have that personality, and I am not referring to my wife, but
yeah,
they'll be like, well, you need to get your motherfucking stomach together. You need to work on yourself. Like, but
because she can't deal with
what you're saying. The truth. So, be able to reciprocate.
But that moment don't last. That's the thing. Like, when you have that conversation, it can get heated. It may even go 6 different directions for that moment. But then at some point, if there's true love, you guys can come together and be like, you know what, you might be right. I probably should work on that.
And it's okay to laugh about it.
Exactly.
Not be like at a point where people so critical with each other. Like if this is a person that you love, really just tell them what it is, and tell them why you feel like that, honestly, and say, if there's something that I can do, better, let me know so I could work on it. Is it something that I'm doing that's making you feel a certain way? And I think sometimes that communication open up doors, and sometimes I don't think guys take enough time to really get to know their mates.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So
I absolutely agree.
If you don't know who you
I've
with,
been that man before.
yeah, I
You know
mean,
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
too. Like, and if you don't know who you with, how can you really build a relationship? How can you build that trust if you don't trust them?
And I'm gonna get the ladies a jewel. You may agree, you may not agree, but I feel like at some point, every man, we fight with who we are and who we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a challenge.
Real.
You know what I'm saying? Like I even today, I go through it. Like I'm constantly conflicted with the man I am and the man I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times some men want to be, may be that man who has multiple women. You know what I'm saying? But it's like at some point you have to embrace what your life is. If you made a decision to have a committed relationship with this woman, then you should be real enough to fulfill that commitment. Opposed to saying, well, I'm into this now, but I'd rather be in this situation.
Right.
And because it's like, and don't get me wrong, when you get in a relationship, it's not like women become ugly now because you married. You know what I'm saying? It's like for some reason you start seeing more motherfucking beautiful
Right.
women when you get married or when you become in a relationship. But you got to understand that not all those women are, majority of those women, like I said, I'll give you the ratio 100 to 3. You can have 100 women, but you're lucky if 3 of them genuinely love you because the rest of them are just going on for the ride.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So being able to say, hey, if I have someone real enough, and I get so tired of this whole thought process that it's inevitable that we're going to cheat.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a reality that they creating on their own. Like that's not something that has to happen.
I agree.
They watching too many motherfucking movies. They watching too much salacious shit online. Like, stop doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like, stop creating that energy towards your own relationship.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
And stop
expect
being
something
a fool.
wonderful.
Yeah, and stop being a fool because it's like, you got to understand, I think, like you said, I love some things that you touched on. It's like women thinking they can change a man.
Yeah.
It's like if you've seen this man's track record of constantly fucking over women, what makes you think you're special?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He's going to leave you how you got him.
Exactly. I think women, if you really are frustrated with the fact that men cheat, then how about you try something different also? Because I guarantee you, if she take the time to analyze what she's picking, there's going to be a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you picking the same dude over and over again, don't get me wrong, he's may look different,
Right.
different name, but if the same characteristics and the same action, if you're going to constantly keep exposing yourself to that, then you deserve everything that comes with that.
Yeah.
Because you're just as wrong as the man not wanting to try something different and get out of his comfort zone. You're just as wrong as him for not wanting to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So, the whole goal, they need to take, everybody need to take their time and figure out exactly, if you're not in a relationship, figure out exactly what you want out of a relationship and who you want. And then, be stubborn about that and get that person, you know what I mean? So on that note, we're going to wrap it up and we're going to salute our person of the week. So the person that we want to salute today is...
It's going to be Frida. If you've never heard of Frida, beautiful woman. I'm going to tell you a quick story, man. When I first saw Frida, she has a unibrow. And my wife has a friend who's Mexican. And I first saw like she had this bag with Frida face on. And I was like, man, who is homeboy with the unibrow? And she was like, motherfucker, that's like, check me quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Frida. And I would joke about it. And one day I show you how like you got to get beyond your own ignorance. I started doing some research on her and I became a fan instantly. She's an artist, but she's done a lot for the Mexican community. I mean, she's a god within that, and she deserves to be. You know what I'm saying? Like that, this woman is dope. You know, like everything she touched turns to gold. I mean, Selma Hayek played her. You know, Netflix had her movie for like a brief little stint. I want to say, shit, that was some couple of years ago. I haven't seen it on that since, but I caught the movie a couple of years ago. And like I said, every chance I get, man, I'm doing some research on it, man. Like, I totally salute Frida, man.
That's
you know,
what's up,
and
man.
everything she's done for her people. I like, you know, just everything she represents. I feel like she is a staple. You know, when you say the word Mexican, you know, like she's the E, the X. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't say enough about her. You know, I'm glad to even be able to salute her today, honestly.
And I appreciate you, you know, exposing me to her and exposing our
She's
audience
amazing,
to her if they
bro.
don't know who she is.
Yeah,
you
do
know,
some research,
do some research,
man.
you know.
She's a great artist, man. She's somebody who would never be forgotten. And I tell people, whatever you do in life, it's, you know, I'm starting to realize as I become older that it's not about money, it's about living forever.
That's real.
You know what I'm
real.
saying?
on
And
that
Frida
note,
created something that's going to have her living forever.
that's the Matt and Sam show.
Fuck your politics.
Real talk.
Thank you.